What's your name?
Fran.
And tell me your story.
Well, not would be a little bit more specific about that.
Well, how did you end up in foster care?
I had an alcoholic mother that basically just chose it over me, and I went in and out of foster care basically my entire life between my mother, people I didn't know, and my sister. And eventually it just turned into permanent foster care, and I bounced around from home to home and finally found somebody that would accept me, because you don't always fit in everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But I found my last foster mother was a very wonderful person, and she helped me get over the fact of being scared of, I guess, stability, having any kind of stability in my life. She helped me find a job. She helped me get pretty much my life together, and she showed me that you can have a normal life outside of what I was raised up with. So,
Was it pretty chaotic?
That's a nice way of putting it. Anyways, my mother had some different issues that she went through periodically, and men that she went through, and things that I had to go through that I, for the most part, didn't really care for. It wasn't something that I needed to be around, but it actually taught me in the end to be a better person.
We'll edit that part. Your breathing is like... that is going to be all over the video.
Right.
It's like, oh, I know what's going to happen. We're going to get it. And you can, like, seriously hear your nose, like, breathing in and out.
Okay, the mic's on the back, though. The mic's over here.
Yeah, okay. Because it captures my stuff, my video camera, so I'm a little worried.
Oh, that's fine.
So keep that.
So don't breathe is what you're saying.
No, just be aware that your breathing could end up showing up on the video.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we'll edit.
Okay.
We'll edit that. Sorry. It's like,
Okay.
It's just,
You're not feeling very well.
Yeah.
okay, so I was so distracted in that part.
It's fine.
Where were we?
You just said that there was stuff that you didn't need to be around.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
for
So
the most part. It was, it's nothing you would want your kids around. I mean, it was drugs, alcohol, men, the basic non-livable situation, and I tried to stay away from it as much as possible, but you know, when you're a kid, you have to be with your mother, and so that's where DHR, came into the picture and just took me away for the last time permanently. And then, like I said, I bounced around here, there, and everywhere, and then, like I said, Amy, she showed me a totally different life. She was a single mom, but she took care of me and about 5 other kids, all at one time, by herself. And I guess that's where I learned the majority of my responsibility, was trying to help her and seeing how she was doing it and just going from there. But
so she was a good example for you.
yes, very much so.
Is that what you needed?
Yes. Because my mother was a good person. She taught me, right from wrong for the most part. She just couldn't apparently do it herself, I guess is a way of putting it. But she taught me what I needed to get started, and Amy finished it. She picked up my self-esteem. She showed me that there were other things to do other than getting in trouble and drinking and doing all this other stuff, She kept me in school. She helped me through it. She was there for me during my, the band years of my life. And, it was just the moral support that I needed that I didn't get at home.
Do you think that one person can make a difference?
Oh, yes. Fortunately enough for me, I've had several people that have inspired me in my life. I've had all the way from friends' parents you know, seeing how they lived, you know, a mother and a father, you know, living with their kids, biological parents, and I've seen single parents do it, and I've got a chance to see a variety of things and to hear different people's stories telling me, you know, what they had to go through to get to where they're at today. And everybody has struggles, and sometimes you just have to, I guess, just learn from everybody else's mistakes and your own.
Yeah. Who was the one person that made a difference to you, if you could narrow it down to one person?
I would have to say my last foster mother did.
Amy?
Yes. I stayed with her for a few years, and she made the biggest impact on me for the growing up portion. And, you know, once I moved on from her home, I guess she wouldn't be the only one. There were two. Miss Patsy's in my life now. She's my daughter's godmother. And her family, you couldn't ask for a better family. I mean, they just had the ultimate family. They have their ups and downs just like everyone else, but in the general, they have the perfect family that you want to be. So.
And so you keep your eye on that.
Yes,
is that what you want for yourself?
Yes, that's definitely what I want for myself. That's the reason I'm glad, you know, my daughter, you know, my husband and I, we're together. You know, she's growing up to be very spoiled, I guess is a way to put it. But she's going to have everything that I didn't.
Go back to when you left Amy. Did you age out of foster care?
Somewhat.
Was it 18 here in Alabama?
I'm not exactly sure. I know I was 18 whenever I moved out.
What was that like?
That was tough. She had actually moved to Atlanta at the time, and I moved in with another lady. Matter of fact, it was one of my managers from here. And I guess I just kind of wanted to be on my own to see if I could do it. So I went ahead and I got my own apartment and tried to start off myself. It was overwhelming. Bills creep up on you quick. You have a lot of choices to make, and if you do not make the right ones, you will find out really quick like. I didn't have too many role models right then to go with, except for what I learned with Amy, and I guess just, the whole stability portion came back into play. And I've been with this job ever since then. And I guess if I hadn't have found this job, I probably wouldn't have made it. I have some really good friends here. My boss man is a great guy, and he's helped me through it with my bills and stuff that I couldn't pay. And he helped me get my way into where I'm at now. And I have a stable home, stable life, stable job. And
what were some of your struggles that you dealt with, like practical struggles?
Practical struggles in life outside of it.
Well, when you aged out, like the first 3 months. What could you have gotten help with that you didn't get help with?
Well, you have your insurance. God forbid you get sick outside of that care, because you can't afford your own unless you have some form of stability. You have the worries of where your next meal is going to come from, what your next paycheck is going to be, if you can pay rent. The last thing on your mind is really going out, partying, and hanging out with friends at that point. You do that when you're at home or living with someone, because that's your free state of mind, I guess is what you could put it. And once you get out of it, it's a whole nother world. It's stress, drama, just everything back to back. I had my problem, of course, still with who I hung out with. I still hung out with people that I probably shouldn't have, but it was what I was used to. I found that to be a downfall in my life. I followed the wrong ones. But then I turned around and I found better people that would accept me, and had to change my entire lifestyle around.
If you could say, speak directly to a foster kid that's aging out, what would you tell them? Like they're about to go through what you've been through, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to first of all stay in school as long as they possibly can. Even if they're aging out, you still got college. You need to get as much possible education as you can to get the best job possible. Because without that, you don't know where you're going to be at. Unless you've got people that will back you up and support you and help you throughout, you're really not going to make it. And that's pretty much all I can tell them. Because, you got to have a job, you got to have education to be able to start your own life.
Yeah.
And without that, you're not going to make it at all. You're going to end up on the government like everybody else. And usually they have come out of the homes where their parents do live off the government.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll turn into, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
If you could change one thing in the foster care system, what would you change?
I got a list of things I would change.
Okay, give me 3 things.
Well, placements. I think they don't need to throw kids into homes without checking backgrounds on both foster parents and child. Because putting a child in the wrong foster home can actually cause more grief to the child than help.
Yeah.
I went through that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the social worker being the issue on trying to help the child or go through, but the social worker needs to be a little bit more involved, maybe. I know they try to do activities with the kids, taking them, trying to teach them.
Because that's how you learn about a child, right? If you observe them in maybe an atmosphere that's not necessarily an office.
Yes. You have to get them out in the real world. You have to see how they react. You have to see what kind of personality they have. Like, you can't take a very high-spirited child and put them in a more laid-back, mellow lifestyle. It doesn't fit. Then you got the parents crashing down on the child. Child still feels out of place. No security. It's just not going to work.
Third thing.
Let's see. The third thing that I would probably change about it would be the way that they teach. They interview and go through things with the kids. I think the kids need to get to see a lot more of what the parents see that are coming into foster care than what they do. Because the parents get to watch videos of the worst scenario of kids. Other kids, they think they've got it bad just because they may have had an abusive parent. My instance, I had an abusive alcoholic mother, but my life really wasn't as bad as some kids. And some kids do have it real bad. And I think they need to see it.
Yeah. Some of your friends that you know.
I think they need to see both halves. They need to see a good lifestyle and a worse.
Yeah.
Because I have met some kids that have been through a lot, and it's going to change them completely, but there's still a chance of being a good person.